Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Black business owners. Thank you for the invitation, for allowing me to speak before you today. And hello and good morning to the people of Division H and Calcasieu Parish, those who are watching and listening, as you will do later. I am Kendrick Guidry. I am a candidate for Division H District Court Judge, and certainly appreciate the opportunity to be here. One of the key elements and one of the things that I want to impress upon you and those listening, Division H is a seat for the people. That's what I'm running for, and that's what it belongs to. It doesn't belong to me, however long I may have it. It belongs to you. It belongs to the people of Division H. And one of the things I envision, or several things I envision for Division H, it's going to be a courtroom for the people. We're going to implement civil justice. It's going to be protected. Individual rights will be protected. Due process will be protected in my courtroom. I'm going to earn the trust of the people. I'm going to be fair. And all my decisions will be educated and fair interpretations of the law. That's what I bring to the table. Accountability, accessibility. You can't be a judge and not be accountable for your actions. You can't be a judge and not be accessible to the people at all times, not limited times. I'm going to be involved in youth mentor programs, which I've done in the past. I'm going to stay involved with the elderly because we have to do that. We're all going to be there one day and we have to protect the elderly. I'm going to be involved in education programs, whether it's civil rights instruction, whether it's voting rights instructions. That's something I'm going to do. And also, as far as Division H, we're going to maintain our involvement in specialty programs, DWI court, adult court. We're going to mental health court, veterans court. Those things are programs, and courts, quite frankly, was at the DA's office, we didn't have 20 years ago. But now we've evolved as a court system, and we know everyone can't be locked up. We know that we have to do more for our people because there are other issues going on than them just being a criminal. One other thing I'd like to see is a first-time offenders court. And I mean a specialty court for those youthful offenders, nonviolent, who they make a bad mistake. They should not be locked up forever. We have to have something special for them. Now, to get something done, and what I'm not going to come to you and tell you a long laundry list of 10 things that I'm going to do as a judge of Division H. I only control Division H. There are 8 other judges. When you're having to implement new programs, to do new specialty courts, to do anything in the system, you need a majority vote. So these are some very, very limited things that I'm telling the public, I'm telling you, that I know I can control and I can influence. And there are a lot of other things that could be done, but you need the votes of other judges and you need that cooperation. So who am I? For those who don't know specifically, I'm panning away from the camera, public, to the black business owners. I'm Kendrick Guidry, son of William and Mary Guidry. I'll be 52 years old on election day, and I think that's important. I've been telling folks about that. Life experience has brought me to this point. You need a judge, and I present you as that judge that has that life experience. I have 20 years legal experience to the bench. I won't be practicing judge when I get up there. I will be judge and have had that my whole life. I'm married, I have 2 kids. One's 24, one's 16, and every day she's waiting for her new car that she's not getting, so keep waiting, Kenna. And so she doesn't care about this, she wants about the new car. So I'm a family man, a Christian man. I'm Catholic by faith, Christian by walk, and I think that's important because those values will come with me to the bench. They won't leave me, they will always be with me. I am from Westlake, raised there, Eagle Scout, 1986 Westlake High School graduate, and from there, 1990 McNeese graduate and pre-law, because at the time I knew that's what I wanted to do, was be a lawyer, but fate got in the way. And I was an ROTC graduate. They call it a distinguished military graduate, which means my appointment as a regular Army officer is equivalent to a West Point graduate. So I took that and went into the military for 2.5 years. Second lieutenant, Fort Hood, Fort Riley, Kansas, Fort Gordon, Georgia, Fort Hood, Texas, and served there over soldiers, over equipment. And as business owners, certainly you can appreciate having to be over your people, your employees, supervise, and also maintaining your equipment. You have tools that you have to watch over. I have done that. And I bring that to the table for the business owners' considerations and for the public's consideration. So from there, leaving the military, came back to Lake Charles, where home is, my connection. and got a job at CARC. That's an agency that handles and is over people with mental and physical disabilities. Loved that relationship, worked there 5.5 years in several capacities. And some of my biggest supporters for this campaign are ex-co-workers, ex-employees of CARC. And I think that's a testament of who I am and what I was even back then, and something you can't change and what you bring to the table even now, because most were friends, supporters, and some adversaries. But even then, those decisions I had to make, they respected that. They knew where it came from. And if you tell people and you look them in the eye, you give them your reasons, they may not like it, but it's something that I did at CARC. So we were over that for 5.5 years. And during that time at CARC, I was over Mr. Earl Dias, for some of you who remember him. He was at the Foreman Raynard YMCA. He was mentoring me, and I didn't see it. I didn't know that's what he was doing. And he challenged me to implement a mentor program for young black boys ages 9 to 14, and I did that for several years. We ran it right there at the YMCA, sometimes twice a week, just bringing folks in, teaching them those tools and those skills, because we all come to the fork in the road, and we all know I make left, wrong decision. I go right, right decision. And what we tried to do then and what we implemented was give them those tools so they can make the right decision. When we all come to the crossroads, we all come to that why where we know we have to make the right decision. So we did that for several years while I was at CARC. And then the calling just came on me. It was time to go to law school. So I'm an LSU law graduate, 2000. When I got back to Lake Charles, I've been a prosecutor, was a prosecutor for 6 years, domestic violence, felonies, misdemeanors, everything. For 3 years, I was assigned to the Division F judge, Judge Carter. And I mentioned his name because I know a lot of people at this table, and I know a lot of people in the community know him. And one thing we all know about Judge Carter is he's going to tell you exactly what he thinks. He's not going to mix any words. So I'm confident enough in my abilities and what I did as a prosecutor for 3 years in front of him to invite you to talk to him. He's going to tell you I was fair, I didn't put up with no BS, and I always try to do what was right. There was nobody I tried to put in jail for the sake of that. I don't care about stats, still don't care about stats, because if you're doing your job as a lawyer, if you're doing your job as a prosecutor, the results take care of themselves. Do right is the outcome. That's what you're trying to go for. So after that, 6 years as a prosecutor, I've been at Plauché Smith and Neeson for the last 14 years. A lot of it civil litigation, insurance defense, business defense, defending business owners, just like you sitting here at this table. And I'm still there now. So that's kind of my background, and I didn't want to lose because Ms. Tasha was very careful to make sure we don't talk for 25 minutes. So that's me in a nutshell. I will leave you with this as far as before, because I want to leave the rest for questions. I just think that's you and people will get more out of it if you ask me questions. But I can tell you in this race, I'm the only candidate who has been in the United States Supreme Court. You can Google that right now, Kendrick Guidry, United States Supreme Court there, briefing. I think that's important. That's a unique experience that other folks don't have. I'm the only candidate with 20 years legal experience. That's important because the minimum qualification to run for judge is 8 years. I have more than twice the minimum qualifications to run for judge and be an excellent judge, because that's always my standard, excellence. I'm the only candidate who's actually sat in these courtrooms across the street, more or less, and have presided over matters dealing with attorneys' licenses. I have ruled on evidence already. I have listened to objections, made on-the-fly rulings on objections, and that's the kind of skills a judge needs. You have to be able to respond right away and know your law and know and understand objections. I have done that already. That experience, I think, is important to the people of Division H, to business owners, to bring that and have that already to the bench when you walk up there. I'm the only candidate that has that. So I'm going to yield the rest of the time, I don't know who's keeping time, to questions. And I'm going to get coffee after this.
I have a question for you. This morning we've heard a lot from the different candidates about them wanting to continue on or work with the probability of working with the specialty courts.
Yes, okay.
I was there actually at the 14th when they first started the specialty courts program, and I must say I'm not a fan. Are you knowledgeable about any deficiencies in the specialty court system? And if so, what are those deficiencies and what would you do to fix them?
I have no knowledge of the deficiencies of the specialty courts. And the reason why is because what they fix and what they address, I think, are positives. Because when I first began as a prosecutor, there were no specialty courts. And I have seen firsthand folks with drug addiction. I have seen veterans that used to come in my courtroom and we had one answer, and that was jail. And because we have different answers, we have different options, I believe specialty courts have a purpose, and I support them.
What about the recidivism rates from those that complete specialty courts? Do you know about the stats of them reoffending and going back into the system?
I don't know the stats, but you definitely have that concern on any type of court, on any individual, but I don't know the specific stats, no.
Mr. Guidry.
Yes.
I've been following you, and I've I guess you say you heard things out there as far as your position of where you are now, and working for being that we are business owners, working for businesses, but at the same time too, in this position as a judge, you'll be not only dealing with business owners, but you're also dealing with people. How does that transition for you? Is it a big transition? Does it matter in the sense of working for corporations versus for the people, as a judge? Because I'm now that you have to follow the letter of the law, but at the same time, as far as your experiences, because I didn't know you had that deep of experience. So how do you, if I'm making sense, how do you transition from being, working in corporate to now sitting and hearing just regular folks?
Let me answer on the topic, and if I don't answer every specific part of your question, just let me know. First and foremost, and I'm going to say this to the black business owners, we are here because you're black business owners. And I have heard that. And Mr. Fairley, I'm going to be honest with you. It upsets me when I hear me get tagged as some kind of corporate lawyer or somebody who's not in touch. How dare we, as black people, cast another black attorney for doing something different, okay? I think for a long time, we have been told we couldn't own businesses, and here I am speaking in front of the black business owners. So I get a little emotional, a little upset about when that question comes, and I've been asked that question, and it boggles my mind because why are we pigeonholing black attorneys, me, into doing one particular field? When I was in law school, it was a big thing because the OJ case was big, and it was, Johnny Cochran was king. And I had a federal prosecutor look me in the eye and says, why do all black attorneys have to be criminal defense attorneys? Why don't we think about the other side of the table? And that's what got me thinking about being a prosecutor. Why don't we think about the other side of the table? Why can't we have somebody like me on the other side of the table representing businesses, representing you? You're going to have your own issues as business where you need consultation. Who better to have as your judge as someone who's been on that side of the table? I can't tell you how many times I've come into a courtroom, I've come into a deposition where the litigants are African American and they're expecting a white attorney to walk in because it's the insurance company or it's the business. I walk in, I treat them with dignity, I treat them with respect like we do anybody else, and it gets their mind to thinking. They're comfortable when I walk in. I have made friends. Don't tell my old clients that, but I've made friends of people who've been on the opposite side because they understand, you know what, we could think outside the box. It's okay that you don't practice a certain field that a lot of majority black attorneys practice. And to answer the second part, I think, or one part of your question about, I think my experience on, because you have to run the Army like a business, even though CARC was a nonprofit, you have to run that like a business. You don't want to lose money. And now representing, because I've given seminars on businesses protecting themselves, I think I'm a fair representation of what a corporate attorney is, a business attorney. And I don't take it as a bad word. I've fed my family and done a lot of stuff in the last 14 years with Ploche, Smith & Neeson. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm proud of it. And I think we're living in a time now, and I'm talking to the young folks who may be listening right now. We're living in a time right now, think outside the box. Don't let anybody tell you that you have to do a certain thing. Be all that you can be. Do what you can do.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Mr. Guidry, again, thank you for being here today and taking our questions and speaking to our many viewers that are watching live now and may be watching at a latter point. And I also encourage all of you that are watching and each one of the candidates, when you, after this is all over, make sure that you share this on your Facebook page, because a lot of folks may not be able to see it right now, and they can watch it through your feed. I'm encouraged by the folks that have come here today. I see the fairness. I see people who have a passion in doing what it is that they're doing and representing us. And a lot of times, we're not lawyers. We don't know what happens at the courthouse. Mm-hmm. We don't. We kind of assume, or we might watch a segment of Law and Order and figure that everything will be done in an hour, you know? That's kind of what we grew up watching. But don't let the courtroom be the only place that you are. Mm-hmm. Go beyond those walls and come out on the streets and let folks know. Let them see you as an inspiration, be an inspiration to others that are going to come behind you. Mm-hmm. I'm more than sure at some point in time somebody was your inspiration for you standing up there right now. So mine is more of a statement as compared to a question, to say that if you are, do more. You're going to be held to a high standard. Mm-hmm. And give something, because somebody at some point painted the pathway for you to be at this point. All of you that are here, pay it back. That's what we owe our community.
Man, Mr. Fonda, if he was running for office, I'd be scared of you. Passionate speech.
Well, thank you, Mr. Guidry. I think that is
all. I
all.
used up all my time. Is that 25 minutes already?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me maybe respond to your statement on that. One of the things, when I began the boys program at the Y, that's one of the things that I talked about. I knew at the age of 22, as a young man, as a young black man, I don't shy away from that. I already had something to give. Now, you're talking about mentor. Mr. Dias was that mentor. And we would have, before he dropped the bomb that he wanted me to do this program, we had a lot of conversations. So as far as social service, as far as being in the community, that has been done. And I tell you, as you talk about don't just be in the courtroom, I think that's very important. I tried to say that at the very beginning. We can't have a Division H judge that gets elected and goes away, that you don't see, you don't hear. You have to be in the community, and I've talked about community integrity experience. That's important about the Division H judge. And we too often, and I think I know where you're coming from. Sometimes you do see judges where that's the point, you don't see the judges. They need to be accessible. Back when I was 22 with the mentor program, that's one of the things that I stressed, that I knew at that point I had something already to give back, and I was in the community. No spotlight, no Facebook, no live stuff. It was ground and pound and being accessible. And some of those young men I'm still in contact with today. And just like Ms. Guidry talked about the recidivism rate, some of those folks, they picked the wrong turn in the road. But too many are raising families in this community, and I'm proud about that, and I still make myself accessible to you. I want to leave the black business owners, I want to leave the community with just the prayer that you give me, and I trust that I've earned your support and earned your vote today. Division H, Kendrick James Guidry, number 72 on the ballot. Please consider me. Thank you.